y'all, it's Saint Pam again. I want to start off by saying I apologize for the delay. You know how the holidays can get, and I guess I kind of crashed and burned for a little while. With that in mind, however, I would like to go on and get started. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I had been intending to do a video on the Darkwing Fair. However, in light of Diablo's 20th anniversary, I thought I would talk about that instead. Now this probably won't be a super long video, but I still hope you enjoy it. The first Diablo was actually how I was introduced to Blizzard. I have a lot of fond memories of the first two games. Unfortunately, I never really got into the third, so I thought I would make a new character for this video. And while I'll be playing, I'll be doing a quick breakdown of the lore for Diablo leading up to the first two games. Alright, so in the beginning there was a single creature that contained everything that was good and evil. Eventually, it sought to rid itself of the evil part with the goal of attaining complete purity. The original entity was Anu, and the evil parts that it cast off were, would become known as Tathamet. These entities fought for a long time until they inevitably destroyed one another. It was their deaths that created the universe. Tathamet's remains became the great evils and the burning hells, while Anu's spine became the crystal arch and the high heavens were created around it. Now, eventually, the high heavens built the Pandemonium Fortress around the World Stone, and there was constant, endless fighting. After he tires of the eternal conflict, Anarius flees to find a more peaceful place. So in his attempt to get away from the conflict, he ends up meeting Lilith. And they, along with other demonic and angelic rebels, steal the World Stone. And after that, Sanctuary was created, and then Nephilim began to be born after angels and demons started having a little fun. Now, Lilith ends up purging Sanctuary of all of the angels and demons that lived there, except, of course, for herself and Anarius. After this, however, he banishes her to the void because of her actions. She would eventually escape the void and return to Sanctuary. There, she manipulated Odyssean so that she could use him against Anarius. And during that time, the high heavens found Sanctuary, and they attempted to destroy it. But of course, the burning hells stepped in to stop them. Odyssean managed to force both armies back to their realms. However, he ended up dying in the process. Then a vote was held by the Angerous Council, and it was found in favor of saving Sanctuary. Alright. The Mage Wars started about 1,000 or so years later. And thanks to their ability to conjure demons, the Vizier quickly dominated the other clans. Horazan and Bertok fight one another, and being as they were extremely powerful sorcerers, their battle ends up destroying Vizhun, and Bertok was defeated. It also destroyed most of the Vizier, and with that defeat, the clans kind of dissolved and began to scatter across the world. After that, Azmodan and Baal rose an army against the prime evils. This rebellion ended in the Dark Exile. That was when Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal were banished from the burning hells and sent to Sanctuary. So, of course, that had to be dealt with. So Tyrael, who was an archangel, created the Horadrim, and he does that by bringing a lot of mortal heroes together in this group. After he gives them the soul stones, he tells them to track down the prime evils in order to imprison them. They capture Mephisto first. This is done near the Khagistan jungles. He was trapped beneath a Zakaram temple, and this area would eventually become Karast. Then they found Baal next. He was found in a desert near Lut-Golin. The leader of the Horadrim at the time was Tal Rasha, and he actually had to sacrifice himself. But that death allowed the others to capture Baal within the damaged soul stone. Then they found Diablo. He was the last to be captured. Jared Kane and the group of monks that he led trapped him, and then they buried his soul stone. It was buried near the river of Talsande in Honduras. A Herodic monastery with an extensive catacomb system was built over it. After several years, a town popped up around it, which is the Tristram that we've known. However, it was abandoned about 50 or so years later. It really wasn't around for long. And the Horadrim actually dissolved, and as far as anyone was concerned, they were just a legend at that point. So those are the events that led up to Diablo 1. I know it's not super detailed, but I actually learned a little bit researching this that I didn't know, so I just wanted to hit some key points here. I hope that you also learned something. I may do a second one about the lore for Diablo 1 and 2, and maybe Diablo 3. I probably will, because I actually really enjoyed this, and again, it was interesting learning some things about the setting that I didn't actually already know or didn't remember from the game. Also, I want to apologize if you hear a little something in the background. My eldest son is playing WoW at the moment. Alright, but please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to see more in the future. And thank y'all for listening. I hope y'all have a great night.